What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 7 of season 3 of Demon Slayer. Hopefully you watch this episode as well, because we're going to be talking full spoilers, but real quick recap. And this will probably be a pretty quick recap, because really two things happened in this whole episode that had a lot going on just in those two events. Basically, Tanjiro is still pursuing the little guy, the main upper demon who's running from him. He strikes him at the neck, trying to chop off his head. It creates a horrible sound as he's trying to grind through his neck, similar to that episode, I think it was first season, where that guy's teeth grinded. Yeah. Remember him?
Yeah.
Reminded me of that. He feels a presence behind him, and it's a whole new demon that's showing up. Again, he tries to shoot it, but he can't because Tanjiro's in the way. And it is eventually revealed that as soon as Tanjiro attacked the main little guy demon, all the other demons that were fighting them originally, all the different emotions, all merged into a hatred demon who has wooden hydra dragon things that fly around. They attack Tanjiro. He is dodging them, slicing with his sword to slow his fall. It's pretty crazy looking, crazy animation, mix of 3D and 2D, which was interesting. He eventually comes down. They exchange a little bit in dialogue. Essentially, this hatred demon views them as awful villains, attacking weaker, smaller things, like this little crying demon guy. Guy's very definitely playing the victim card, as Tanjiro says, but this being Tanjiro, instantly recognizes that this dude's devoured many people to be where he is now, and instantly throws it back on him. The guy also throws back at him, though, that if you didn't know these people, what's it even matter? But you're talking to the wrong guy. Tanjiro cares about everything too much. So, yeah, he says he's going to behead him. He's upset about that. He lunges his hydras at Tanjiro. Tanjiro slices, and we get a cutaway. I'm sure we'll actually get to see this fight, but it was reminiscent of my biggest complaint about the other show we're watching, Hell's Paradise, how they will cut away and then you just don't see anything. And this, I'm like, this is Demon Slayer. We'll see it.
It'll be back.
Yeah. So we hop over to the longest drowning victim ever in anything ever, Tokito, who is still in the water pot. I just found out this episode. I'm sure it's been obvious this whole time. I thought he's in a little bubble of water, but he's in a pot.
Jar. Yeah.
It's a jar, just like everything he does. So I was like, oh yeah, makes sense. He's in there. He's down to like his last breath. He's still not able to get out. He's talking to himself about how he can't even do it, and that he essentially is gonna die. The demon who's been watching over him, watching him drown essentially, wants to know what's in the shed, and goes to investigate in there and why they're even trying to protect it. He's met with one of the swordsmiths who's trying to defend something happening in here, and he gets lashed by the demon, and it is revealed that oh god, what's his name? Mr. Haganazuka? Something like that. Tanjiro Swordsmith is working on his sword, very steadfast in trying to complete it, and being completely absorbed in the process of that. The demon is upset by that because he's not paying attention to him, and being the artist that he thinks he is, he wants people to pay attention to him and the things he does and creates.
I think he also says, I might be misunderstanding, but I think he's also upset because not even he has that kind of devotion to something.
Sure, yeah. It's because he wants him to stop doing what he's doing. He wants to be a presence enough that he'll stop and pay attention to him, because he mentions that he could easily just kill him, which obviously he could.
Yeah.
So he starts smacking him in the back, lashing him, breaking off his mask, which was very interesting to get a face reveal of this dude who's been pretty comical character, especially with his mask and his personality. Now seeing a face to that, which is similar to when Inosuke
Inosuke, yeah.
took his boar mask off.
A beautiful, beautiful boy.
Yeah. So yeah, he's trying to complete this sword, and we'll find out what happens there. But back to Tokito, finally saying he's out of breath, and this is the end. He starts seeing visions of Tanjiro telling him essentially that, somebody will come help you when you put good out there. You get it back from people, which is something that kind of reflects on when he saved Kotetsu. I think that's the little guy's name.
I don't know.
You remember? And yeah. So he's having these visions, but he keeps saying that he's never heard Tanjiro say any of this. So he's kind of like mixing, it seems, memories of somebody else, but with the person who's kind of reminded him of this past that he's forgotten, which is a really interesting thing. So yeah, he's having these visions, and then while that's happening and he can't get out, I think his name's Kotetsu. I might be wrong. It's been a while. He's been out of the show for like 2 episodes. The little swordsmith guy shows up with the sword trying to break Tokito out. The whole time Tokito's essentially telling him, like, you got to run. You got to go do something. Grab some swords. Get out of here. There's nothing you can really gain from being here. You're only going to die. And he's still trying. So this little weird, like, crab monster demon thing that the pot guy is responsible for, I'm sure, comes walking over, attacks the little guy, and then stabs him in his solar plexus, which is rough. This upsets Tokito, of course, but then in his possibly last moments, I'm sure it'll be fine, but we'll find out. It'll be horrible if something bad happens to him. He blows air into the water pot and is able to reach Tokito. He's able to get a full breath and able to do an attack finally with enough power to break himself out of the pot. And he's finally free after like 3 or 4 episodes of him being in that fucking thing. So let's see some Tokito action. Very ready for that. He also remembers too that he may be remembering what his father told him, because he remembers now that Tanjiro's eyes are the same as his father's eyes, which is weird because it seems like only people in Tanjiro's family has those eyes. But I don't think there's a connection there. And yeah, I think that was about everything that happened in the episode. Cliffhanger, but basically, new demon has arrived, which I was saying needs to happen, so that makes sense. And then Tokito's out of the pot, so we can start the new fight of the bigger, badder enemy, and Tokito can finally do something. What do we think?
I mean, it was a good episode. I really like the. I kept seeing pictures, and I'm glad it wasn't like completely spoiled for me. I kept seeing pictures of the merged demon's face all over Twitter, but without context, I had no clue what was going on there. So it was still a treat to kind of see what was going to happen, because there was no way that the upper 4 was going to just die this early.
Yeah.
So. Especially because in the intro, those Hydra heads are present and the Love Hashira is fighting. So I assume that's foreshadowing of what we're
I also think
get.
it's interesting that we have a hatred demon and a Love Hashira.
Yeah.
So it's like contrast.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Plus multiple heads. She has a weapon that
whips around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems perfectly set up. It would be really weird if she doesn't fight him.
Yeah. I like his design.
Looks like a little Vegeta boy.
Well,
devil horns.
And then like the circle coming out of his back with the drums. I've seen that a few animes at this point.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird the first time I saw it, but I've come to like it at this point. I also think it's interesting that he's just got this little like hook thing that he uses to like punch his drums with. I'm like, wouldn't that poke holes in the drum? Like, I'm
He's hitting from the side.
Well, he's using his hand. I'm just like, why do you need the stick then?
Yeah.
So unless those are just like a catalyst for the Hydra heads, but Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. Obviously, it was also interesting that Nezuko's fire wore off the sword. I was kind of wondering what's going to happen there because I can't imagine Tanjiro's going to get any actual kills in until he gets his new sword. So
But you're seeing it; it's being worked on. It's a work in progress.
diligently.
As we speak, it's happening.
I also like how when he showed up and he would speak, his presence was heavy, and it actually made both of them stop in their tracks. And I do believe, I can't remember the guy's name now.
Genya?
Genya. I do believe Genya's still kind of suffering that, but I think the things that were coming out of the demon's mouth kind of snapped Tanjiro out of it because it infuriated him.
Tanjiro just got pissed because
that he
that
was
guy was
playing
fronting
victim.
as like he's the hero.
Yeah. Also, it's nice to see Tanjiro not just be like, oh, there's, like how these doubts, like, oh, they're probably not that bad, blah, blah. He just straight up was like, I'm going to behead you. And I was like, damn, all right.
Yeah.
That was pretty forward for you. So,
He ain't playing his game, dude.
yeah. So I liked that a lot because I do think, we need moments where you're in a serious fight that you're not sitting there being like, oh, maybe they're good. No, the demons suck. Just fucking kill them. Like,
I love that the demon was so like confident in his position though, where he's
Yeah.
like, "You guys are assholes.
he's
you guys
not
are
wrong.
You guys
Yeah.
are trying to kill little guy or whatever." It's like
Who's still crying now,
Yeah.
protected by a bunch of wood or stone or whatever those things are made out of.
it's
so.
interesting how he's like this like crying little demon guy
He's
who's being
fear.
who's being protected by his emotions.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And now, not only is he like rock hard, anyways, now he's got a fucking another layer to contend with multiple things attacking. So that'll be interesting. The 3D though, very noticeable, was blended pretty well. It's obviously you could see it, but I think they did a good job handling the mix of the two. It's just going to be more and more common in anime. I know people are going to hate it, but it's the route they're going to go. So,
I mean, season 1, when Tanjiro's training, there's that scene where he runs through the woods and all the traps are coming at him, and it's like a 3D shot with him in 2D running through the environment. So this is nothing new.
sure, I'm just saying that for like those are very big obvious things in comparison to a lot of stuff you do see in blending in anime. I think they handled it pretty well. The
thought it looked good.
the hard part is obviously like color tones on 3D and 2D are hard to mesh because one's object moving, the other's flat. So,
Yeah.
but it was done really well. I think also the way he was like weaving in and out of the heads and they were weaving around each other, it looked really good and convincing. So, yeah. And then the whole part with the Mist Hashira and him basically having, I thought it was a nice touch to have that haze because he's like has this amnesia thing going on, and then it slowly like parts away as he's like remembering something. That was a nice touch.
What haze? Are you talking about like the ghost of Tanjiro's past?
Well, and then when it turned into his father,
Tanjiro? Yeah.
yeah, and and it was his mouth at first, and slowly the fog kind of peeled away as he was like remembering why, or what, because he said like he's trying to figure out because Tanjiro, he's like he never said all this stuff, and even when Tanjiro did say something to him, it reminded him of something someone else had said in a prior episode.
It's kind of clever the way they're going about unlocking whatever his past is, because when Tanjiro first showed up and he's just like this vision he's seeing, I'm like, man, Tanjiro talking about that one time really affected him that much, huh? Like he's just making up whole dialogue in his head over what he thinks Tanjiro would be saying. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But then like when he started going like, wait, you never said this, I'm like, yeah, he didn't. Okay, where are we going with this? And then when it starts connecting with like he's mixing his recent memory with memories he hasn't remembered. I was like, oh no, that's clever. That's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, and it's the only reason I'm bringing it up is because amnesia is tricky to make interesting because it's a cop out a lot of times.
It's so boring half the time. Like I don't remember now. I do.
there has not been this huge emphasis on people like, oh, you have amnesia. Like there's no one's blatantly said that. We just know through his actions.
Yeah, we've been speculating on it for a while, but just because of how he is and stuff we're seeing in the intro and stuff. But here we are actually seeing a process of him figuring something out, which is more interesting than just going like, he sees something and goes, oh yeah, now I remember everything.
Yeah,
which is typical in a lot of amnesia story arcs.
yeah, and I like that a lot. I also like that even though they know they can't win, a lot of these swordsmiths, they realize their responsibility and they're like kind of throwing themselves in harm's way to at least delay these demons. Even the kid who's like this little gross little crabfish thing comes up to him and stabs him a couple times. And he's just like, no, this guy is who's going to save us. I got to do something. So
yes, the priority. I kind of, with the sword situation, it makes sense. Like, if this is like the greatest things ever worked on or made, that's one thing, the dedication. But also, like, you got to view that sword as like a weapon that can change this situation. You need to get that in the hands of the person who can use it to save everybody. And so you have to get it done.
And even when the kid was like fighting to get him out of there, he's like, grab some swords and run. Like his brain's like, grab the weapons and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, he was checked out because he was just waiting for. He's like, I'm gonna die. Somebody else will show up. Yeah. Hopefully. So yeah, get some of those weapons and yeah.
And then I'm looking forward to oh yeah, well I don't want to skip. Seeing Tanjiro's swordsmith's face was a surprise, though obviously I knew they were just normal people under those masks. It's hard to get an image of it because they're boisterous personalities and masks.
Well,
make them seem crazy.
That guy's mask is just two big eyes and a little kissy face.
Well, they all kind of have that weird like phallic mouth, like even like the
phallic dude. It's fucking his is a little extreme.
Yeah, well, even like the chief, and then his personality is also kind of like as soon as he was like in the arms of the lovey share, he's like, oh, this is my girlfriend now, basically. And when the other guy tried to get close, he's like, get your own, get out of here or whatever. So,
they're all kind of weird.
Yeah, but they have heart when they need it, which is cool. So
yeah,
they're also, it's a nice like tension break. This whole series is good about. If it's serious all the time, obviously it can kind of get like too heavy at times. Like or you just kind of the heaviness matters less and less because there's no breaks, and they do a good job of throwing in breaks. So, and then the post credit part. Where it showed what Tanjiro's swordsmith was doing while he was in hiding, which was just a lot of getting swole.
Yeah, he got big.
Yeah, and then not taking kindly to the audience being told by the kid that he made these really sharp kitchen knives, but they're so sharp he's afraid to use them. So,
yeah,
fun episode though. Unfortunately, this show's really good about cliffhanger, so gotta wait till next week.
Yeah, this was a setup episode. Yeah. We've been watching a lot of episodes with like a lot of stuff going on. There's like 3 solid episodes there with just like nonstop fighting.
Yeah,
I was pretty surprised by that. So it makes sense, especially at the end of the last episode. I was like, he's already chopping his neck. Like, where are we going with this?
Yeah.
And so this episode essentially serves as a way to pause everything and go, okay, we're resetting up the fight. So now we got Tanjiro is gonna have to fight against this new demon who's going to be more powerful, because I was wondering in the last couple episodes, it seems like they're becoming more proficient at fighting these demons, that's not going to last.
Tanjiro had their number.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and even though they keep regenerating, the fight was going to stagnate. So I was like, you got to introduce something new. We got something new. This guy. So we got that established in this episode, and we'll see that moving forward. Hopefully Love Hashira shows up to help with that. I'm sure she will. It seems perfectly set up. But I'm still waiting on her to become involved in the fight. But it's an interesting setup, and I do think that the hatred demon is an interesting design. I also like his attitude. I think it's kind of funny that he's like saying that they're
Holier
the
than
villains.
thou.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really. I thought in the last setup of demons, the one that's always yelling at everybody was kind of funny too.
anger demon,
Yeah,
yeah.
because he's just getting after everyone nonstop. So that's interesting, but not much to really talk on there outside of the CGI I thought was fine. The animation in that situation I thought was done really well. But yeah, it's all set up, and now we're ready for the next part. And then I'm very, very happy to see Tokito get out of that bubble. Very happy to see him possibly do something, because even when he's in that bubble, he's talking about how he should be the most powerful one here, how he overestimated himself, and he got too comfortable and he got put in this trap. Well, prove it. I want to see that, because you guys have been saying this a lot. Everybody's been saying this a lot in this season, and I'd like to see him actually fight something. I'm sure he's great, but I want to see it. Yeah, the scene with Kotetsu, I'm pretty sure that's his name, was rough. I don't like to see the little guy get stabbed in his solar plexus. A fatal hit, as Tokito said. And then, yeah, the whole scene with Tanjiro's swordsmith, I thought was a lot of fun in a shows his dedication and character way. Obviously, it's not great that he's getting damaged while trying to complete the sword, but I think it kind of adds a lot to his character, because before he's just the guy who's crazy, don't do anything to my sword that I built you, better not have a scratch or a nick on it. And now he's basically sacrificing himself to make sure he completes a sword for him. So it shows that the insane dedication to wanting his sword to be preserved also goes into the same dedication that goes into making the sword. So he takes it very serious both ways, and so that's fun. I hate the pot demon and his little arms.
Oh yeah.
Every time he's around, I'm just like, I hate that guy. Somebody kill him. Somebody will, I'm sure.
And all his strong hands.
Yeah, he's gross. I think the other demon is like fun in the way that he's got multiple demons and now he's turned into this thing. It's interesting. This dude, I'm like, okay, what's this guy gonna be like in a fight though? Because so far he's just like being creepy with his little hands and putting people in pots and lashing people with water pots, and definitely curious to see where that fight ends up at some point, because at this point he's just being a menace, which is definitely what he's supposed to be. What else? It was a good episode. It just really seems like we're like teeing up for the next scenarios to start. But doing it within one episode, because I'm sure next episode we'll just get right back into it as a quick little kind of break that I think the momentum of this season so far probably needs, because I was like, these guys are really going at it. Like, the animation is crazy, the fights are crazy. Where's this go? So now that everybody's like, okay, let's start over, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, good episode though. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna be saying that every episode this season. It's a given, but really good, and can't wait to find out what they're gonna do with the new demon guy and his crazy Hydra heads. That's gonna definitely offer a problem to them. And then Tokito do something. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, anything else?
No.
All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of this episode of Demon Slayer, episode 7, right? It was episode 7. What did you think of the new demon? What did you think of what happened with Tokito? What do you think about the swordsmiths in the shed, and where do you think things are going? Unless you know where things are going, I don't want to know, because I don't want spoilers. I'm watching this for the first time ever, and I read the manga, so please, no spoilers. But yeah, what did you think? Let us know. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy, and until next episode, we will talk to you guys later.